Good, happy Friday morning. I'm Riley King, and welcome to the Riley King Newscast. Let's begin. First up, Swansea man arrested in connection with shooting. Let's take a listen to the video from WMUR News 9.
If you cannot support the electricity, the internet, the water, the whatever needs that new business needs, then they're not going to come to New Hampshire.
Tonight, a Swansea man now accused of shooting a woman last week. 26-year-old Matthew Brow was arrested today for allegedly shooting Stephanie Teves last Friday. Brow is charged with first-degree assault and was released on personal recognizance bail pending his arraignment next week.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. MBTA Mass.2 commuters brace for significant impacts. Let's take a listen to that video from WCVB Boston.
Plan for a challenging commute tomorrow, particularly the afternoon commute. Check real-time information for road closures, particularly coastal roads, but other roads that may be prone to flooding. We keep comparing this storm to January 4th because the forecasters keep comparing it. We had situations on January 4th that we haven't seen in a long time. We had water almost up to the Neponset River Bridge. This time it could be higher. So we are really planning, but if we have to close roads, we're going to close roads. And the other reason that we're particularly concerned about tomorrow's storm is that forecasters are telling us that instead of relatively brief inundations from high tides, they may last longer because they'll be driven by wind and wave action offshore. And so for both the Highway Department and as General Manager Ramirez will talk about in a moment, for the T, we need to plan for the possibility that we'll need to close roads or possibly transit systems for extended periods of time, beginning in the afternoons and in a manner that could impact people's evening commutes.
Okay, and there you go on that video from MBTA and Mass.officials. Maine coast brace for strong nor'easter flooding. Let's take a listen to that video from WMTW News 8 Maine.
What, these both support the immune system?
Too many choices? Well, along with digestive health, Florastor provides an extra layer of immune support.
Really?
Unlike many other probiotics, Florastor stimulates the production of IgA.
IgA?
Oh, IgA is a protein that promotes health and defense against infection.
All right, I'll try it.
Woo! See you later, ladies. Be biotic with Florastor.
Megan, well, it was a gorgeous day here in Wells. Many people getting out, taking their dogs for long walks because they know they'll probably be stuck inside tomorrow, especially if it looks anything like this. Take a look at this video. This is what it looked like in this exact spot during the last nor'easter. Waves crashing over the seawalls, water rushing down the street. You can see there's still seaweed and debris left over from that storm even today. Now, we spoke with a man whose house flooded during the last storm, and he says he's moved a bunch of stuff inside to prepare for this one. Listen to what he had to say.
I'm kind of excited about it now that I'm prepared for it. I've got the snowblower already up in the screen room here, and the generators out of the garage. That's up here. So anything that's could get wet down in the garage is already up here on higher ground.
The Coast Guard also issued a warning encouraging everyone to stay off the water and prepare their boats for the storm. CMP also says that they're prepared to bring in crews from other states if they need to if there's any damage after the storm. Live in Wells tonight, Erin Dixon, WMTW News 8.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Here are the U.S. exports that could get slapped with retaliation by other countries. President Donald Trump tariffs on steel and aluminum imports has triggered sharp criticism from the international communities, begging the question of how the world will react. It's too early to tell how other governments may respond. So far, Canada and the European Union have promised strong countermeasures, but didn't provide details. Trump meets with NRA officials again. Let's take a listen to the video from ABC News.
At last, my love has come along.
President Trump shocked lawmakers in a bipartisan meeting on Wednesday, calling out the NRA, calling for comprehensive gun control measures backed by Democrats. The big question now, will those positions stick? Our chief White House correspondent John Carl has all the latest. Good morning, John.
Good morning, George. President Trump takes pride in being the most pro-NRA president that we have ever had. But he gathered Democrats and Republicans here at the White House and stunned them all by repeatedly taking positions firmly opposed by the NRA. As the television cameras rolled, Donald Trump urged, practically pleaded, lawmakers to impose some of the toughest new restrictions on guns in decades.
I see some folks that don't say nice things about me, and that's okay. Because if you turn that into this energy, I'll love you. I don't care.
As a candidate, Trump famously promised he would never let the NRA down. And while he once again praised them as true patriots, he repeatedly took positions that put him at odds with both the NRA and Republican leaders in Congress. He pushed the idea of raising the minimum age to buy assault weapons.
I would give very serious thought to it. It doesn't make sense that I have to wait till I'm 21 to get a handgun, but I can get this weapon at 18. I don't know.
He said one of the NRA's top positions, allowing concealed weapons to be carried across state lines, was a no-go. That got a fist bump from Senator Dianne Feinstein.
I just don't think you're going to get it approved. You're not going to get concealed carry approved. Amy and Dianne and a lot of other people, people may consider, they're never going to consider it, but people may consider it, but they're not going to consider it in this bill.
The president also embraced Connecticut Democrat Chris Murphy's call for background checks on all gun purchases, an idea Republicans have voted down again and again.
We can't get it done. There's nothing else like that, where it works, people want it, and we can't do it.
But you have a different president now.
Well, listen,
I mean, you went through a lot of presidents and you didn't get it done. You have a different president, and I think maybe you have a different attitude too. I think people want to get it done.
Mr. President, it's going to have to be you that brings the Republicans to the table on this, because right now the gun lobby would stop it in its tracks.
I like that responsibility, Chris. I really do. I think it's time. It's time that a president stepped up.
At the close of the meeting, the president predicted what he called a, quote, amazing result. a big comprehensive measure on guns and school violence, something that has eluded Congress for decades. But to give you an idea, George, of just how big and heavy a lift this would be, Republicans are not excited. Look at what Ben Sasse, Republican senator, said after the meeting. He said, "We're not ditching any constitutional protections simply because the last person the president talked to today doesn't like them."
Yeah, that was some tough stuff. Still waiting to hear from the Republican leaders in Congress as well. John Carl, thanks very much.
Okay, there you go on that video and that report. And by the way, Eversource is warning their customers strong and heavy wet rain are moving into New Hampshire. Our crews are ready to respond if the March nor'easter cause damage to our system. Be sure to report any outages by calling 800-662-7764 or at their website. And other power companies across New Hampshire are warning their customers as well. There could be some power outages due to the strong wind gust. And that is it for the Riley King Newscast right here on the Riley King Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you back here later on today. Goodbye, everyone.